class, right? Or yes.
Recording is on.
So this class we're expected to cover the basics of HTML. Okay, so please, if at any point during this class you cannot hear me or there's something I say or talk about that you don't understand, please you can use the comment section and I would see it and I'll respond to it um, at the right time. So please feel free to, if you want to call me back to something that you don't quite get clearly, or you want me to repeat myself, or you can hear me well, you want me to be more audible, please tell me in the chat section. Thank you. So let's start. So everyone here, or a lot of you here, probably might have heard about HTML. What is HTML? What does it do? Is HTML programming language? Or so let's start from HTML, or hypertext markup language. So when you hear HTML, it's the short for hypertext markup language. So HTML itself, it's a markup language. So and a markup language is a way of annotating an electronic document. So that's what you use markup language for. You use markup language to annotate electronic document. That is, when I say annotate electronic document, that is you're actually telling the electronic document how it should be displayed, what it should be. All right. Mommy said I'm not audible enough. I don't know if I am now. Um, can somebody confirm if I'm audible enough now? Or all right, thank you. Omo, you can actually increase the volume of your handset or your device so that you can hear me because two other people say they can hear me. So thank you. I was saying a markup language is a way of annotating an electronic document. So you want to tell an electronic document this is how you should display, this is what you are, this is what you should this is what you are, this is what you should do. So HTML is what a markup language rather is what you use to do that. And there are different types of markup languages, quite a number of them, right? Um, Quite a number of markup languages that we have. For example, you must have heard about XML, which is Extensible Markup Language, XHTML, which is Extensible Hypertext Markup Language. There's something also called MathML, Mathematical Markup Language, and a lot of others. Okay, and I don't know if you come from maybe from a blogging background, you kind of must have had might have heard about XML, right? When I used to blog back in the day, I was familiar with Blogspot, and a lot of Blogspot templates, um, themes are written in XML. So HTML is kind of the standard now in quote for the web. Okay, so it's HTML is the dominating markup language for the web. This is not to say that you cannot use XML, but then or XHTML or MathML. But the truth is, a lot of people don't use these things today. For example, XML, because they have their glory days, and it's now gone. But now people talk about HTML, right? Specifically HTML5. So as we continue, you would know what HTML5 is. Okay, so HTML consists of series of elements. So HTML is all about elements. We talk about the P element, the H element, the header element, the paragraph element, you know, name it, what have you. Quite a lot of elements. And the interesting thing is you don't have to memorize these elements. Okay, somebody's just joining us. Please mute, kindly mute. Thank you. So the interesting thing about this element of HTML, because elements are the building block of HTML, they're made up of elements. The interesting is you don't have to memorize them. There are quite a lot of them, a lot of them. The present version of HTML, which is HTML5, has about 111 elements. 111 elements. And the truth is not, I don't think there's any developer that knows all these elements. You don't have to memorize them, okay? You just have to know enough for you to, at least the basic one for now, at status. Then later the other tags that can help you with better accessibility and all of that. Okay, so these elements they are otherwise called tags. Some people call them tags. And um, let's start and let's see how we write HTML. What is it all about, and how does it look like in the browser. So I'm going to share my screen now. I hope you can all see my screen. I think you can. Just one person leave. Okay, yeah, okay, yes. Thank you. So what I'll do is I'm just going to create a new folder. Let me do. So let me just go to my desktop and make a new directory and just call it maybe code class, right? And let me cd into code class and let me open it in my preferred text editor, which is Visual Studio Code. But then we'll come right there very soon and let's see. Okay, so I have code class opened. So now I actually cannot see if you leave a comment now. So if you need to tell me anything, you can just unmute and since my screen is all covered. Okay, so let me create a new file. Okay, thank you. A new file index.html. Now, since this is a beginner's class, okay, let me return back to. Since this is a beginner's class, there's something that is quite important to learn in the beginner's classes. You don't have to bug yourself about um, text editors, right? For starters, of course, it's good. It aids your work and everything. We were taught while starting up in tech that okay, if you're writing HTML, it's good to actually for you to know what you're writing, for you to know the tags and that it's okay to use just your normal notepad. I don't know if you've heard about it before, which is quite great if you ask me, uh, because if you're using notepad, there's no intelligence to tell you that to suggest code to you. You would know the tags well. If you're writing a P tag, for example, a paragraph tag, which you will see in just a moment, you would know to write it well because there's no code suggestion, unlike in advanced text editors like Visual Studio Code or Sublime Text or Atom or what have you. So it's usually told to newbies and starters that okay, you should actually use Notepad for you to be able to get a comprehensive knowledge of the tags. Then, of course, you can move to other code editors. So, the awesome thing is, let me just go to Notepad. You can actually write, yeah, you can actually write HTML here, right, in Notepad. You know, just now I will explain everything. Let me just do doc type. Task. Hello, is somebody saying something? All right. So you can actually, like I was saying, you can actually write HTML inside Notepad. But then for this class, I don't think I'm going to do that because we have to move quickly. But I'm just saying it's an option. But I would advise that okay, you should have VS Code installed on your machine, and it is quite great for you to have that. So so let's start. So if you're writing HTML, okay, the first thing you have to do is instruct the browser of the doc type. You're going to tell it the doc type that, okay, this is the document type. I am writing an HTML. Yeah, sorry, I'm writing an HTML. So automatically, I told you markup language is a way of annotating an electronic document. So automatically the browser knows that, okay, what this person is about to write is actually HTML. Okay, and then the next thing will be to have the HTML tag, which you see that Visual Studio Code automatically kind of suggested the end tag for me, right? So an HTML tag is the parent, HTML element is the parent element of all the codes you're going to write. So everything you're going to write will be seated right inside HTML. Now I will show you some few tricks, but then I would like you to know some basic things like this, for example. And so the next thing after um, HTML will be the head tag. The head tag. Now, this head tag is what holds all of your metadata, all of your um, metadata, your meta information, like the title of your page, like the viewport, your screen width. You want to configure it. You can do all of this inside the head, right? And so that's what you do in the head. And also, there's something called the body. Can you all still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, okay, great, great. So, so there's also something called the body, which is where everything you're going to build will be seated. Okay, so the body is like, you know, just take it as your head being your head and your body being your body. It's where every other of your organs is housed. Your head houses your eyes, your nose, just a few organs, right? Your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your ears, just a few of them. So that's what the head tag will do, to house just a few of them. Okay, but then the body will house everything, just like your body houses other things, your fingernails, your stomach, name it, what have you. So that's what and that similarly is what the HTML body is all about, to house everything you actually need to. Every element you'll be writing that will be seen, that will be visible in the browser, will be inside the body tag. Okay, cool. And there's one interesting thing I want to show you is that there's something called extensions in VS Code, right? If you have the right extensions installed, so there are quite a number of HTML extensions, um, okay, that you can actually install for HTML. Like, look at the number of them. Like, this is an HTML, CSS support, it an IntelliSense, it suggests code for you. So, for example, instead of having to do doc type HTML, for example, like that, I can just do, because um, I have an IntelliSense, an extension installed. I can just do exclamation mark, then tab, and it sets my boilerplate for me. Interesting, right? Yeah, cool. So look at it. I really don't have to kind of write, okay, doc type, or in capital letter, doc type, HTML, what have you, and all of that. So I just have to install the necessary um, extension. Then with just the exclamation mark and a tab button, the boilerplate is set. So HTML, which I said is the parent element. So here, lang means language, en signifies English. So we're actually writing our HTML in English. So it's actually shown in English to the browser. So this is the head tag that I said it to house all the meta information. So the first meta information you see is the chassis UTF-8 information. And all of this thing, as you progress, you'll know what they are all about, right? There's also the viewport, um, which take the device width, so which tells the HTML to sit properly on your device and have an initial scale of 1.0. So our title is still document, okay? But let's just say, let's call our title test app. So shortly you'll see a title. And if you want, while you're building, you want to see what you're building inside your browser. There's another extension that you can install. I think it's called Live Server. Live Server, like you can see here. Yes, Live Server. So I have it installed already, right? So that's why you can see it here, Live Server. So what I will do now is I will come here and do go live. Can you all see? Go live. So I've clicked go live. Um, so there's something I want. So it's loading now. So let me kind of reduce so you can see it side by side. I think it's cool that way. Yeah. So it's kind of loading now. So yeah, it's up. So look at the name of our document. Sorry. The name of our document, test app. That's the name we inserted here. And that's it right here, test app. So if we put it to maybe something like class app, for example, and we save, it automatically change to class app. So that's it right there. So then let's return it back to test app and let's forge ahead. So let's come to the body and let's talk about the HTML elements that we have and what they are used for. Now, the first element I would talk to you about is the body, the heading, the header element. Header elements, okay, because there are more than one header. So there is the H1, which signifies the first header element. So I'm going to write this is the biggest, for example, and you see, let me save, this is the biggest. So this, look at it present in our browser, like live in our browser. So the Go Live extension has auto reload enabled. So when you save, just appears on your browser like that. Wonderful, right? So this is H1, which is the header, right? If you're writing like a document on MS Word, you used to have you have it like a title, an header, like okay, this is my project. Okay, will be the header. So the H1 tag is one of the header tags that we have. So we have all this up to the H6 tag. Okay, so as they progress, the H1 is the biggest header. H2, the next after it. Okay, so let's say this is the second biggest, in that format. So look at it right here. This is the second biggest. And then, if you do H3, this is the third biggest. Now you notice the size as you come down, uh, as you come down in the numbers, so also the size decrease. The size decrease. Okay. So the next one is H4. Like I said, this is the fourth. And let's do H5. And this is the fifth. And H6. This is the sixth. So let me save and you see it appear and look at it. So these are the header tag.
Let us allow us to get the specific data from the specific points we wanted.
Come again, please. Is somebody asking a question? Now, you know what you do for me? If you have a question, can you just kind of hold on a while? So let me just teach to like 8:45, all right? So you have enough time for your questions. I'll take them one after the other so that we can get to cover up a little, okay? So when when it's time for questions, you just ask them and then I'll respond. Is that fine? Thank you. So let's just go back and see what we're up to. So yeah, that's the first tag I would like to know, and the other tag H1 to H6. So let me just clear this one and just leave the H1 alone. There's another tag called the paragraph tag. So you want to, write a paragraph inside your code. You use the P tag, the paragraph tag. So you can say So let me just, instead of say this is the biggest, let me just say my blog. So then let me, in the P tag, let me say blog is about lifestyle, gossip, news, and entertainment. So look at it, that's the P tag right there, the paragraph tag. So you can have as many paragraphs as you would want in your application, in your website. Okay, so whenever you need a paragraph, ensure to use the P tag. So an interesting thing I forgot to mention is that a lot of these tags are supposed to have opening and closing. For example, so see P, sorry, VS Code is suggesting the close tag. So when you open with angle brackets, okay, and the next thing when you're closing the angle bracket again, then slash and that. So when you open a tag, you ensure to close them, or else it will not work. So for example, if I should clear out P here, if I should clear out P, while of course it appears that it's working, but then it's not exactly working. Okay, by the time I deploy it, maybe to Netlify, for example, and things will not show up properly. So it's good thing that you put all the things that you want to have on your application inside tags or inside elements. Okay, so that I removed it and it's working does not mean that's the best practice. Okay, I could even not have this thing. I could just type things like shh, and then if I save it, it will appear there. And why is it that way? It's because I already declared that the doc type is HTML. So everything I put in here will just appear on the browser, but then it will not appear, it will not sit fine if anybody were to go onto my website without me putting the appropriate elements. Okay, so there's an appropriate element for everything you want to write. So if you're writing an header, right, don't use a P tag for an header and don't use an header tag for a paragraph. Okay, so there are other tag also, the link tag, which is also very important to know. So the link tag, it takes an A like this, okay, and an href attribute. An href attribute. The href means where is it going to link to, okay? So the href says where is it going to link to. So let's say I want to link to Twitter, for example. I'll just do https twitter.com. So, and then here inside here, I can add in something before the closing tag of the link. I can say, okay, this is a link to my Twitter page. So this is a link to my Twitter page. And interestingly, if I click this, it takes me over to my Twitter page. Okay, which is great, right? Yeah. So the link tag, which is the A, represent the link tag. It's the link tag. It could take also other attributes like target. Now you notice that when I clicked the link, this is a link to my Twitter. It takes me to my Twitter, and then you can't find my website anymore. Well, in an ideal case, what we want to do is when you click a link from my website, I want it to open in a new tab. So you can just do what is called, it takes an attribute called target, and the target, if you want it to open in a new tab, to take in blank. By the time I click it now, okay, I'm here to save, that's why. So let me go back, save. Now when I click now, it opens my Twitter in a fresh page instead of just canceling things out. Sorry, you have to see that. Okay, so that's the link tag. You use it to link between web pages, or whether internally or externally. You can link between pages inside the application, and you can also link externally. Okay, let's look at another tag, another important tag, which is to put in an image into your application. You want to put in an image into your application. So this is the image tag. It takes two important attributes. And what are the attributes? The SRC, which is the source, and the alternative. So the SRC, which is the source, could be absolute or relative. What do I mean by absolute or relative? Absolute in the sense that I am actually linking outside. Like the image I want to take, it's actually somewhere on the web. It's not inside my application folder. Or it could be relative if I have um, okay. So let's say I want to link to an image from the web, right? So I need the source. Let's just look for a random image online, just random image. Okay, let's just search for random image. Okay, so everybody likes dog, right? Let's use dog. So let me just kind of copy image address. I don't know. Let me see what the image address looks like. It looks redundant actually. Okay. Another interesting thing to do is, instead of copying a long image address like this, which actually looks redundant, let me just create a folder and call it images inside my application, and let me bring an image from my computer inside. Yeah, I think it's cool that way. Let me just find a picture like this one. Okay, and let me just paste it in here inside our project so we can easily link it. And let me just name it Palo. Okay, Palo. So it's a JPEG image. So let's come back here to our app, and let's kind of link it. Okay. So since it's inside my project, all I have to do is I'll just do slash uh, slash images slash sorry slash images slash allo.jpg. So what is it going to be like? Look at it, so big and doesn't sit fine, right? Yeah, we're going to get there just in a moment. So we can say alternative means just in case this image doesn't load for a reason, maybe it gets missing when I deploy to production, or something just happened and the image is not loading. An alternative would just be like, in case the image is not there, this is what should appear. So this is a parlor, kind of something like that. Please pardon the way I just name stuff. So let's just say this is a parallel, that's the alternative, just in case the image is not there. So this is too wide. So let's kind of give it a width, smaller width. So it takes a width attribute. Let me expand it so you can see clearly. It takes width attribute, and this attribute are in pixel format. So let me say I want it to be like 38 pixel, okay, or 38 rather, and the height also, let me say a height of 40. Let's save. What does it look like? Look at how small it is. So you can actually adjust to whatever size you want. Let's say I want it to be 100. Let's make it kind of a little bigger. 100. So it looks kind of bigger. So you can adjust to your taste, okay? I want to speed up a little so that you can cover quite a number of tags before the class is up. So that's the image tag. You can always go back to it. Uh, this class is being recorded, so in case you need to go back to it, a link for this class will be sent to the Discord channel where you can easily go back to it to see how the image, all the how the tags that we're going to be discussing works. Okay, just in case you get to forget. So don't forget or remember that image takes an important attribute which is the SRC attribute, and also the auth attribute, which are important for you to give to your image. And the SRC attribute, it's the link to the image you want to display, which could be inside your directory or which could be somewhere, just random place on the internet. So you can easily pick it and just put it inside your application. Okay. So another tag we're talking about is the B tag, the bold tag. So you want something to be bold. So let's just say um, this is bold. Okay. Let's see. This is bold. Now look at it. This is the P tag, right? Compare the P tag with the bold tag. You see that the bold tag is larger. I mean, sorry, thicker rather. Thicker. You know that, okay, this is actually bold. So in case you need to bold something inside the application, the tag to use is the bold tag, the B tag. Okay. I know you might be wondering that why is we're building a website and why is everything disorganized, right? Yes, that's an important question. It's disorganized because we're not styling it yet. Okay, so everything just sits randomly. For example, um, block elements, you get to know them later. They take the whole width, the whole available width of the page, while inline elements, like the image tag, which is an inline element, will just sit somehow. So that's what CSS is for. Cascading style sheet. You can use it to style your application. But then we're not getting into CSS today. That's not our focus. So forgive me if everything is a little messy. Okay. That's how it will be for today. Then, as we progress in the class, you will learn how to style. But then let's just learn the basic tags today, okay? And then, as a good student, also, by the time you know these tags, you can also just go and learn. You can learn in advance, right? Read in advance before the class. Learn other tags, learn CSS, kind of. But then, our advice to go on a very steady pace, okay? Don't be too fast and don't be too slow, okay? So that's the bold tag. Now the other tags, like I said, um, there is the strong tag. You want an element to appear kind of thick, right? That's what strong is for. So this is strong. Let's just say this is strong. Now you might not kind of see the much difference between the bold tag and the strong tag. But by the time you take accessibility to heart, okay, what is accessibility? It's about accessibility is basically making the web kind of better by building it for inclusivity. For example, not people who are people of special needs also make use of the web, not just people who are old. Okay, some people who are maybe the blind, for example, they make use of the web. So if you use the right tag, the web becomes more accessible to everybody, right? Both the blind and the deaf and all of that. So, as we progress, when we get to the section of accessibility way later in the cohort, you will learn more about these things and how it affects an application. Cool, right? So there's also, like you can guess, since there's a bold tag, there will also be an italic tag. So you want something to be italicized, okay? So let's italize. How did they spell italize again? Is it italize or italicize? What the hell? Please forgive me. Let's italize this. So what does it look like? It looks italized, right? Now you might wonder, why is everything just falling this line? Why are they not coming downwards? Like everything is just going on a straight line, right? Why are they not coming down? That's because these elements you see here, these three elements, the link tag right here, the image tag, the bold tag, the strong tag, and the italic tag, they are inline level element. So they will keep piling up like that and not take the full width of the container. For example, the p tag now, if I add another p tag, it will come downwards and not by the side because it's a block level element. It's styles in block. So let's just make things, let's make it a little less messy by adding the break tag. Okay. So if we add a break tag, see that it comes down. So let's add a break tag here too. Okay, you can add as much breaks as you want if you need extra space. Okay, so let's just say 3 breaks, like that. So that's it. You'll learn how to do all these things later with CSS. But for now, let's just bear with this and kind of memorize the tag. Okay, this is just a basic an introduction to HTML. So I'm basically tasked with teaching you about the tags for tonight. Okay, so there are other tags. Like I said, please do not kind of bother yourself too much about cramming it, right? You don't need to cram the tags. You just need to use them often enough to know them, right? If you use them often, they will actually stick. Like I said, while starting HTML5, which is the current version of HTML that, we're using, and like every other person is using, a lot of people rather, it's using, has about 111 elements. You don't have to memorize all the 111 elements so that you don't get tired and be like, oh, tech is frustrating. No, no, you don't memorize them. Don't cram them. Rather, just use them enough for it to stick to your memory. Okay. So there's other tag which is this superscript. Superscript tag. So like the word, like superscript, it puts an element on top. So let's say stay up. Stay up. Let's use the subscript tool, subscript, which brings the element down, and let's do stay down. How does it look? Stay up, superscript, stay down, subscript. So that's it about the tags. That's it about the two tags, superscript and the subscript. Okay, and there's also the delete. If I use the delete tag now, so it starts with del, delete. Anything I write there, cancels. So I intend to delete. Sorry about the terminal, should have existed a while ago. So I deleted this, or I intend to delete this rather. So look at it. I intend to delete this. It's actually cancelled because I don't want it there. But then, do you actually exactly need to use this inside your website? The truth is, on a lot of occasions, you probably don't need it. But there are a few times where you need to actually cancel out some things and not exactly remove it. So this tag is useful for those kind of scenarios. Okay. So there is the mark tag. I need to mark something. Right. Mark tag. Mark this, please. So look at it. It's marked with a yellow ink naturally. So that's the mark tag. So it just marks things. Maybe you want something for emphasis that, okay, hey guys, just look at this. The mark tag is responsible for that, for marking. Okay. And there's also the embed tag. I don't know if it's the M tag, like a form of italic. So these are the basic tags we have. And very quickly, let's just try to look at quotation and citation elements. There are some elements that are used for quotation and some are used for citation. For example, for quotation, we use block quote. Block quote. Let's just say this is a quote from who? Now, this is a quote from Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter. So it takes a cite attribute. I maybe want to cite Twitter. Okay. Actually, this is a quote from Jack of Twitter. Yeah. Then we cite it. So why is this important? You need to use a statement that is not yours, right? For the sake of plagiarism, which is a very, very huge offense everywhere in the world. You might say it's not a huge offense in Nigeria, but then it actually is. Plagiarism is a huge offense. So you want to write something on your blog, on your website, something that you don't exactly own. It's not your statement. You didn't write it. Okay. You can use the block quote to quote somebody and also cite them. Okay. You quote them and you cite them. So the browser knows to render this element as a citation. That's one of the um, quotation and citation elements. There's other one called abbreviation, ABBR, abbreviation element. So an abbreviation element, let's just say we want to abbreviate something, maybe CIA, which stands for Central Intelligence Agency, right? And then since we're abbreviating it, inside the title attribute, we'll put in the full name. Central Intelligence Agency. So here, look at it. It has this dotted thing to the side for you to know that, oh, this is actually an abbreviation. So if I over it, you see it shows me the full name, Central Intelligence Agency. So you would need to use this sometimes when you want to abbreviate something, and then for accessibility's sake, somebody does not know what CIA means. By the time they come here and over it, they will see the full meaning of CIA. So you can use abbreviation tag for that. It's part of the quotation and citation element. There's also another element part of that quotation and citation called address. Yeah, you want to write somebody's address. Number 122. Let's just say Aliwata Road, wherever that place is. I don't know. Aliwata Road, maybe Ibadan, Nigeria. It's an address. So in an address, you don't use an address tag. I mean, they use a P tag for an address. While it looks like, okay, this is a paragraph or this is just a word, I can use any tag. No, you should learn to use the right tag for the right things. This is an address. Use an address tag for an address. Now look at it. So the web will know to render this or to put this out as an address. Okay, it's better that way than using a P tag to demonstrate an address. So another part of the quotation and citation element is the cite. The cite element, you want to cite something. So you say something like, let's just say, for example, Einstein said that, let's say, said, write code without bugs, write code without bug. By the way, Einstein didn't say anything like that. So, but then you want to cite him, yeah. So you use the citation tag to cite. Okay, and there are other tags also that are under the quotation and citation elements. Okay, sorry, I'm actually interchanging the word element and tags. Okay, so if I say tag, I actually mean element. If I say element, it also means tag. It's just the same word. I'm interchanging it. Okay, but then the right thing to actually call it is element. But then a lot of us are used to saying tags. But then they are elements. Okay, but you can use it interchangeably if you want, right? So that's it about quotation and citation. There are a number of them. Okay, and like I said, you don't actually need to cram these things. You don't need to just use them enough for them to stick to your memory. Cool, right? Yeah, cool. So before I kind of stop for tonight, I kind of want us to learn tables. Okay, tables. So it's another element called tables. You want to have table, for example, sorry, not table, table, not tables, table. You want to have a table in your application, you use the table tag. Okay, the table tag. Now, how does the table tag work? I think that's where I'll just stop for tonight, and so that I can take questions. Okay, it's almost 9 p.m. Okay, so the table tag takes a number of child elements. So the first thing I'm going to write here is TR. What's TR? TR means table row. We all know what a row is. Row is the horizontal part of a table, right? While column is the vertical, right? So here I have table row, and in the row I want to have table head. Okay, table head. I want to write name. Okay, let's just make it 3. Now you see something interesting about how it works. Name. Let's just duplicate it. Name, class, and date, for example. And let's see how it looks like. Look at it. So I have all these as, or rather, instead of doing it that way, let me actually do it this way. I think it's better that way. Let me kind of say, I just do it like this. Do class, yeah, and maybe age. So it sits um, across the row. Yeah. So let's say I want to fill in the table now and just do table row again. So this time around, instead of saying table head, since we're not putting in head again, we just say table data. Table data. So my name is Emmanuel. It sits on the first side. Let's duplicate. Then my class. Let's just say I mean code clan. Code clan is my class. Okay. And then my age. Let's just say I'm 12. Okay. So how does it sit? Sit that way, cross, um, horizontally. Now, does it look cool? No, of course not. It doesn't look cool, right? It doesn't sit cool. Like everything we write in since doesn't look beautiful. Okay, not that it doesn't look cool. It looks cool, but it's not beautiful. And that's where styling will come in, all right? By the time we get to start in certain styles into this, you would love what we're building. But then the aim of this is not to insert styles just yet. Okay, just knowing the basic tags. All right. So as I round up, let me just kind of tell you a bit more other tags that you can look in on your own. There's the video tag. Okay, you want to link a video um, inside your application. So you can just do video. It takes an SRC, a source. So you can put in the link of the whatever video you want to link into your application. You can just put the link there. There are a lot of other tags that are very, very relevant and important. Okay. So I've stopped sharing my screen now because the time is almost up. Now you can bring in your question one after the other if you have any. So you can just kind of unmute yourself and ask them. And if you don't want to unmute yourself, you can just write them in the chat and I'll answer them. So your questions can come in now, please. Questions can come in now. If you have any question, are you all still there?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, T Azo. I hope I'm pronouncing your name well.
Yeah, you did. Don't bother about the pronunciation. It's Tezo. It's just like acronym.
Okay, Tizo. All right. Thank you. Okay. I'm guessing Tizo, you don't have any question. Great.
I don't.
All right. Okay, so I'm assuming other people also don't have questions. So let me just kind of give a recap of the things I've been saying for the past 1 hour or less. So I was saying that HTML it's an abbreviation for hypertext markup language, which is a way of telling an electronic document how it should be. Right? A web page is an electronic document. So HTML is one of the ways you can speak to an electronic document. Okay, I want you to be like this. This is what I want you to show. This is what I want you to be like. And I said HTML is not the only markup language. There are a host of other markup language, but HTML is the dominating markup language of the web. Okay, and HTML have seen series of phases across its lifetime. Yeah. So, starting from HTML 1, 2.0, 3.2, and as this HTML versions come out, the tags increase. For example, in HTML 1, it has just 22 elements. Okay, HTML 1 had just 22 tags or 22 elements. HTML 2 had 49 elements. HTML 3 had about 70, right? HTML 4 had about 91. Now in HTML 5, it's about 111. Okay, so maybe later in future, because the web, we keep building on the web and keep making it safer and more accessible to all. Maybe later in the future, we get to see things like HTML6 and all of that with, you know, bigger pecs and all of that. So when I said HTML consists of series of elements. So it's all about elements. HTML is all about elements. Talk about the P element, the header element, which is the H element. Talk about the address element, the link element. What have you? Many of them. And I stress why it is important to use the right element for the right thing. Okay. If I want to write an address, for example, I wouldn't say because an address is a paragraph, let me write my address inside a P tag. No, it's not okay you know for accessibility purposes. It's not doesn't sit well. So I will put my address in an address tag. If I want to quote somebody, I'll use a block quote. Or if I want to cite somebody, I'll use the cite. If I want to attach a video inside my website, I will use the video tag. And very importantly, I would advise that every one of you should kind of read more about tags. You can go head on to W3 schools. I think I was just shared in the chat. Probably may have heard about it. W3 schools, and just go to the HTML section there and kind of read a lot about it. So that when we continue next week, you'll be able to follow along well. And interestingly, the little things that we've learned today, you can actually build something with it. Okay, it might not be beautiful, yes, I know, but then you can actually build something with it. So as we progress in the learning phase, the things that you're, for example, our advice, you start building a blog, okay, just a landing page of your blog. So everything might not with a few tags that you've learned. So by the time we progress with other tags and we move to CSS, then you still keep working on your blog, and then you start styling it. Then looks great. It looks also it will look more to look better, to look presentable. So you just have to start something, okay, so that you don't forget. Okay, mastery. Start not doesn't make you perfect anyway. But then by the time if you keep practicing, you know it more. So you want to master HTML tags, don't cram it, don't kind of read it like any quotations or something. Just keep using it, and then it will stick. Okay. So that's all for tonight's class. So great, and thank you all for coming. God bless you. So if there's nothing more, I think I'll say my bye bye here. All right. Have a wonderful night rest, and I hope that you build something cool with these tags you've learned. Thank you, everybody, and bye.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Okay, guys, thank you for joining. So, see y'all next weekend. Though
See,
I'm not impressed to the number of people that joined, but well, since you guys are here, so I guess I would relate that with the community, the channel. So thank you for joining. See you all next week, Saturday, same time, please.